Hello, welcome to Gist with Abby, and I'm excited about today's gist.
Yeah.
But before we get started, let me introduce this big head. His name is Nifemi. It's my special guest, and we're going to discuss a very, very controversial and interesting topic together. So the topic is: do you think men and women can actually be close friends
Friends.
without being romantically involved? I know this topic has been overflogged in the past.
Right.
Some people are even going to insult me after because of my opinion. But yeah, I feel like you guys are going to have fresh
Right.
perspective by the time we are done talking.
I hope we're able to get in fresh perspective.
Yeah, I hope
But then
so.
if
I
even
hope
if
you've not
nobody gets,
editor.
I'm sure like even if nobody gets perspective, we'll just have our discussion and
Yeah,
then
at least
open
you
it out.
learn one or two
And then
from
we can always open it out for people to
whatever
talk
we
about.
have to say, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited about it. And this is my first one-on-one gist with Abby. I've been communicating with you guys in the past, but I haven't invited someone here before we meet. So
Chief Gascom, grace your
this is the first, and I'm so happy about it. So
right.
let's dive in. Okay. So I'm going to I'm going to allow my guests, as the gentle woman that I am, I'm going to allow my guests to go first.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by asking him now. Nifemi, do you think men and women can actually have close relationship without being romantically involved? And when you are, think about it well, low, because I will catch you if you're lying.
Yeah.
And then if you feel so, or if you don't feel so, I want to know the reasons behind whatever answer you give.
Sure.
And then I also want you to talk about personal experience, like examples.
It is a lot of it. Yeah.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think?
So yeah, first of all, I have to.
This one that you're just laughing like this. Wait.
I have to acknowledge that it's a very controversial topic,
Okay.
right? And then this is just going to be based on my personal opinion and personal,
Definitely, of course.
things I've heard. Most likely personal.
You're trying
opinion.
to issue disclaimer like
I beg, nobody should drag me.
Make nobody come for me.
Nobody should drag me. I beg. Yeah. So I also feel like it's difficult to really pick a side. And the reason why I'm saying this is, well, I've had experiences on both sides. I also feel like picking a side would also mean that we're invalidating or discrediting people.
No, we're not picking a side. We just want to talk about what we personally feel.
What I personally feel.
We've all had different background, different experiences. People will obviously say their own opinion and what they feel.
Okay,
but
good.
Just say what you feel and then say the reason why you feel.
Why I said that. Okay, cool stuff. So personally, I feel like there.
Hey God, bro, which kind guess?
I just remembered again that okay, let me start from, yes, I believe that people of opposite gender can be friends.
Okay.
Cool. Without getting it mixed up, without strings attached in that sense.
Yeah.
And I've been in friendships where it lasted for the longest. We're really close, and I was single, they were single. It was just very good friend, very healthy friendship. And then there was never a situation where personally, right, where I felt like, oh, this person, I was catching feelings.
So I find it difficult.
Also,
to that.
There was even never a point where, and I tell you that we were together. As in just two of us at different points in time. And there was never I hear people say, we mistakenly, there was never a point where we now say, we mistakenly kissed, no, there was nothing like that.
Okay, so it sounds to me now that you are someone that has a lot of self-control and discipline, right? Which is very, very good. And I find it very impressive with guys, right? Because it's not common nowadays. But that being said, I want you to be honest with me.
You started with me on this show with a compliment. I love it.
Will you allow me to talk?
Yes, please.
So, but that being said, what I want to say is, just be honest.
Yeah.
Have you had? I'm not saying you've acted on it, or you've made it clear now that you've never, maybe gotten to a point that you'll be like, oh, you now mistakenly kissed or whatever.
Yeah.
But have you had any friend, like a female friend, that you've had feelings for that was more than just being friends? I'm not saying that you acted on.
Yeah.
That you've gone on to think about her more than you should. Have you?
Yeah. So I like to say that the kind of person that I am, I think I'm able to identify people I want to date, like from the word go, right? And I feel like if someone is my friend, so I'm speaking based on what has happened to me.
Okay.
Right. The few relationships I've been in,
Mm-hmm.
where they were, it wasn't like, oh, we were friends and then we now transition into being in a relationship.
Your relationship, you had the intention of relationship
From the right
get-go.
goal, right?
Okay.
This person is going to be my babe, right? And I'm like, yo. And in a couple of days or a couple of hours,
whatever.
Like in a couple of days, I'm like, yo, I feel like we should be in a relationship, straight up. But then it's also possible that people, have that transition.
Me, I'm not talking about people. God, no, they do me like this. You yourself.
I've never had, to be very honest.
You've never had the female friend that you've been attracted to more than you should.
That I now feel like we should date.
You wish you were more than just friends, but you did not act on it.
No.
You've never had.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There's never been. Because and to be fair, like I said, I've been in very few relationships, but then I have like at least a reasonable amount of female friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, running down through the list, at least as far as I can remember, I don't think there was any, right, that, maybe they did.
But not you.
But not me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to change the question. I think I'm going to change the direction of the question.
Yeah.
So let's not just talk about you, because I brought you here because you're a guy and I want a guy's perspective as well. Because obviously I'm going to give my own experience,
right,
and I'm going to also give experience from the girl's point of view.
Yeah.
So for you, do you feel like guys in general?
Yeah.
Do you feel like they're able to separate romantic relationship? Like, do you think they have how would I put it? Do you think they're able to say, you know what, this person is my friend and we're going to remain friends? Or do you have friends that have moved, that have fallen for their friends,
so
that have caught feelings for a friend?
Oh, definitely. Like
what's your general view on that from a guy's
so first of all, I like to believe that I've heard guys talk, and I feel like the standards are really low these days.
On which parts? I don't get.
On like everybody's part, right? And this is what I mean.
Okay.
People are very quick to mistake simple acts of kindness for this person likes me, right? That said, people are also sometimes very manipulative, where you know that these things you are doing, right, is able to spark things up, but then from the beginning, like you're not setting it straight, right? Like you're not setting the path straight and making it clear. So it gives a lot of room for assumption. So I hear things on daily basis, and you're like, you know that, okay, certain things were not really right. Do you get? But for me personally, I feel like, I've heard people say that, oh, they thought that this person liked them, or they thought that. And if you look at it, it's just on the basis of people were not clear up front on what their expectations are in the relationship. And then we know things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? People also, somehow I feel like the real issue is the fact that, when we get into these relationships or these friendships, we certain people sometimes would want to take advantage, of good moments in that sense, right? And like I said, the standard is so low. As soon as you are being kind to people, as soon as you are, being like just.
Yeah, I get what you're saying in the general perspective, but I'm talking about from male perspective. Maybe I should give my own example, and it will shed more light into what I'm trying to say. Right. So what I'm saying I want to hear from the male perspective is because a few months ago, I read about a scientific research that spoke about this same topic. And the conclusion from the research was that most times girls know how to manage normal platonic friendship more than guys. So what the researchers said, was that because we girls on a normal day, we're used to expressing our feelings with each other. Like my friend can call me now and start crying and say maybe her husband did this. She can call me and start saying, maybe she had issues with a particular friend or promotion or anything in general, or maybe parents or whatever had cancer, and then we can discuss it. I can hug her I can peck her, like we are more vulnerable with each other in
Yeah.
conclusion.
Yeah.
Right? But most guys don't have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Most guys are like, oh, chairman, alpha.
Yeah.
They might not even know the
Guy.
person's name.
Yeah.
They might see next month
Yeah.
again and say, oh, guy,
Yeah.
you know. They might not know each other that deeply. I feel like guys most times don't try enough to connect with each other, except they've been maybe friends for years.
Yeah.
Then with time, they might start connecting. But
Yeah.
girls have this vulnerability in friendship. They
Yeah.
introduce it when they are comfortable with their friends.
Right.
So I feel like because we're used to that level of emotional connection, we can also handle it with the opposite sex. Like I can have a friend that is a guy and I can talk about all these things without being romantically involved or feeling any kind of way or reading any meaning to it. But from the research, it says that most guys, because they don't have that kind of relationship with their fellow guys, when they have that kind of relationship with a girl, they tend to read meaning to it because at this point, the whole relationship is looking familiar. It's looking familiar to that of their girlfriend or maybe their ex or their wife. So they feel like this type of relationship is so emotional that it should evolve. And especially if the guy already finds you attractive.
Right.
Like he already finds the girl attractive. And then the girl is now being vulnerable and he is also being vulnerable with her. Most times, guys tend to read more meaning to those type of relationship than girls. So according to the research, they are like, if a girl has, like, not all girls obviously, there's always an exception to this thing, but a girl still knows how to handle this type of thing more than guys.
So for me, I feel like there are exceptions to it. Maybe I'm the exception on the other end, because for me, I feel like I always say, like, I am loved at home. Right.
God, this kind of thing. So those guys that catch things, they are not loved
at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, right? Like I said, simple act of kindness does not amount to this person has now become a thing, right? It has to be communicated, and it has to be like both parties. Even if you're having that feeling in your mind,
you are being too logical. Which one be communicated? I know that it's good to communicate, but most times what I believe is that people don't plan emotional.
Right. I also believe that. Right. But then, see, I've been in situations where, from the right go, and like I said, yes, it is true that people are being emotional and all of these things. At the end of the day, sometimes everybody's expectations has to be clear at some point in time.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just be stringing along for the longest. Or definitely. You can't. So if you're starting, right, if you're meeting someone for the first time, you're not in a relationship, you're single, like, you have to, okay, I'm not in the best frame to be in a relationship right now.
Yeah.
That probably can be on the table. Right.
So if you are meeting someone, you tell the girl that you are not.
Depends on how the communication is the conversation is going.
Yeah.
From where you guys start up from.
Yeah.
I know that at some point, like I said, my views sometimes sound a bit conservative.
And serious.
Then, it sounds a bit serious, and that's why I keep saying that. That's why we have what we have right now, because people are not being clear. Right? Okay, if you're a single person, you're meeting a single person, I feel like it shouldn't take so long before certain expectations are put on the table. I don't think it should take so long. But then as soon as they're saying, we can just keep riding on, eventually to get to a point where, everybody has just been stringing on for the longest of time, right? You have been doing duties, them duties. And eventually it's only normal that you can't then fault anybody, for feeling the way they feel. So for me, I'm very big on, let us, as soon as things are getting quite,
people are catching feelings.
Exactly. Like, let us start to, talk about it. But then, like I said, especially from the guy's perspective, if a guy likes a babe, if a guy wants to
you are talking, I want to hear that guy's perspective.
If a guy likes a babe, the guy, there are exceptions, right? The guys, some guys are just shy. Some guys are not going to talk.
Yeah,
right?
they are kind of
But
reserved.
then, see, if a guy likes a girl,
you don't go waste time.
he will not waste time. He will talk about it at some point, and he's going to talk about it pretty quickly enough. I know that we give ourselves, certain excuses that no. If a guy likes a girl, and to be very honest, I can't speak for every guy.
Yes,
right? And like I keep saying, my views sometimes sound a bit conservative, like, oh, held up. But then I feel like as soon as a guy starts to say, a guy is giving you, is blowing hot, is blowing cold, is blowing hot, is blowing cold, you should.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about. I'm trying to say, can they maintain friendship without developing feelings? Can they maintain friendship without?
Now it depends. It's now, can they maintain close friendship without
yes,
developing
can I
feelings?
say, okay, this is my G,
my guy,
and I'll have maybe brother zone, not even friend zone, the person that nada, like nothing. Is it possible?
Conventionally, I think girls do that more. But then I feel like, for me, like I said from the beginning, like when I see someone and this person is my friend, like
you maintain it like that.
Yeah, it's very hard. Like I can't remember, and I don't think it exists, right? Where it now starts to feel like, oh, this person, I'm catching feelings for this person.
Yeah.
I can't remember when that happened, right? For me, it's more like, now you're starting to, like, it doesn't even really occur to me like that, right? But then I know that for a fact, two adults, two mature people, it will only take a while before people start to develop feelings. There's no way.
Yeah, now that the way you're talking about it, it reminded me of when I was in secondary school. I feel like it has happened to me before.
Secondary school?
Yes, I have liked guys that were my friends. I started catching feelings because I couldn't differentiate between just being friends and wanting something more. So that being said, I'm going to say that it also depends on like maturity or your age. Right? Which is the other point I was going to bring up. I feel like when you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, I feel like you tend to, like, your hormones are all over.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you can have a friend and start catching feelings.
You
don't really know how to say, this person is just my friend.
Yes.
Do you get? If you find the person attractive, and that time we don't have sense, like, oh, this guy is sagging, this guy is,
I remember my secondary school
you don't want to dig deep.
Yes. I remember my secondary school experience, and I remember that babe's name. Her name is Buki Johnson.
You call that name with your full chest.
I think she's in the US now. She's doing really well for herself.
Okay.
See, I think I was in SS3, and to be very honest, I didn't remember this.
Shout out to Buki Johnson.
She's pretty. She's pretty. I've not seen her recently, but back then she was really pretty and very classy. And we became friends all of a sudden. Right, we became really cool friends, and to be very honest, now thinking about it, I think that was what changed
your mentality,
perspective towards it. Keep friends now I remember. We were friends. We were really cool friends. All of a sudden, we just became friends, right? And
was she your class or something?
She was in SS3 too,
but not in your class.
In art class.
Okay,
I was in science class.
Okay.
All of a sudden, from the blues, we just became friends.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I now told her to be my girlfriend.
Okay. She can't say no.
She didn't even say no. She totally stopped talking to me.
She ghosted you. She's like nicking it.
And we were within that period while our friendship lasted.
I'm sorry that I laughed, but
no, it was funny. It was funny. We were so cool. We were so cool. You know that moment when I think it was first term or second, like I think it was first term. We're so cool that when she was in the hostel, I was a day student. I'm going home. She would come. She'd give me a hug. It was
so
cool.
You see, I was saying it. Yeah, it was so one experience.
So I think, to be very honest, now thinking about it and summing it up, I think that was what informed how rigid I am with if this person
crossing
is
the
my friend,
boundaries.
this person is my friend.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, mix things up. And
Yeah.
and to be very honest, I think after that experience, me and Muki never became friends. Like our
You
friendship,
just
our friendship just went off.
that must have been painful though.
Well, it
You
was,
will have been
right?
hurt,
It was, yeah,
definitely
it was
then,
because
but
it was very weird seeing someone that was
you
like
guys were
really
like,
cool, like you
yeah.
guys, even though it didn't even last for so long. I think it was our friendship because she's been my classmate for like 2 years. I think she like from SS1 thereabout.
Okay.
And we were cool. And all of a sudden, that old friendship that was so beautiful that I'm like, this person asked me my babe. And all of a sudden, it just died.
Yeah.
I think that was eventually what informed that part of me.
Yeah. That you're like, I'm just going to keep my friend as my friend.
So now thinking about it, I'm like, so it didn't just happen, right? That your secondary school talk just reminded me that, him. This is my friend is my friend. Yeah. If I see a babe and I want her to be my girlfriend, I go for it.
So it's buttressing the points that I'm trying to make, that I feel like age also has to do with it.
Right.
When you're a teenager or when you're in your 20s, I feel like because of your hormones, they're all over. You really don't know how to regulate your emotions sometimes.
Right.
When you're just attracted to the opposite sex, that is your friend, you just want something to happen, right? But I feel like the older you get, like maybe you're in your 30s or your 40s, you can control it more. You're like, you even have so many life issues, like problem days. You're thinking of promotion at work. Right. You're thinking of probably getting a new job or changing career.
Or changing countries.
Or changing location of your country, like Japan. Yeah. Or maybe I'm getting married.
Right.
Or like, no, okay, let's not talk about marriage because obviously we're talking about relationship. Or different things, or maybe you have a sick relative you're like taking care of or anything. So there are so many things to think of.
But this,
and you now start realizing that there are so many friends that can be useful for you for so many reasons. Like not everything has to be like when you're seeing the opposite sex, it's not just this person is attractive, this person I fine boy, boy hands. So it's not just
looking good guys.
It's not just about that anymore. You know that they bring a lot more to the table.
Yeah.
You need that community. You need your own village.
Totally.
Right? You need your own people that you can always count on.
Right.
So I feel like age is one thing that affects this whole dynamics of can you remain a friend with it? And then with life experience, right? You gave a perfect example. That when you were in SS3, you asked the girl out that was your friend, and then she just ghosted you after.
Yeah.
That is part of life experience, as little as it was.
Yeah.
Right? So it also shaped you towards your other friendships in life.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what, I'm not going to cross this line anymore.
Totally.
I'm just going to stay on my lane. If this person is my friend, this person is my friend. If I like a girl, I'll just ask her out from the onset. I'm not going to form from friendship to relationship, right? So life experience, maturity, and all those things is one important, very big important factor in being able to segregate.
Yeah. So is it now safe enough to say that it is possible or it is not possible? Because for me now, I feel like the reason why I can say that it is possible for me because believe me, I have been like in situations.
So that's
where,
the point. That's the point I'm driving out now. So obviously, before we started this, we're like, some people say it's possible, some people say it's not possible.
Yeah.
Right? But from my personal experience, I feel like it's possible.
Yeah.
But that being said, there are factors involved, which is what I'm talking about.
Right.
The first one I just spoke about is
your age.
The age.
Yeah.
Like as you're aging, you tend to get more mature and you can differentiate and control your feelings. Another one I would mention is your like how to set boundaries, your ability to set boundaries. Right.
So setting boundaries. So now talking about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
I think it then takes us to what we've been discussing now as being two single people, right? So now in a situation where
I like where you're going.
In a situation where one party is in a relationship and the other party is not in a relationship, right? I feel like that's another conversation entirely.
Definitely.
Right. And that's where boundaries cannot be overemphasized. Like
I totally agree.
You cannot overemphasize it.
I thought
and like I always say, one of the first things, as soon as you start having friends or you make new friends, and you're not telling your partner about it, right? You went to one hangout, there was this good conversation, everybody exchanged contact, and then you're keeping it. It's not. It did not come up
in your conversation
with your partner, bro. It's getting. You're like that's.
It's almost as if you're trying to hide.
Yeah, people see it as must I tell her everything? There are certain things. So for me, I feel like two things. As a person in a relationship, right? The fact is, you're going to meet people. You're always going to meet people.
Definitely.
You're always going to work with people.
Yeah.
As simple as being at work and like interfacing with people every day and people showing that they are concerned about your day-to-day work operations or your project. Things can even start from there.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So
relationships start from work as well.
Exactly. So first thing for me, I remember I was in a city for Christmas, and it was just really chilled, I promise you. And then we were like my friend, and then a couple of other people, girls and stuff. And at some point, I didn't even know that it was that deep. One of the babes just like, bros, calm down now. Are you the only person to have girlfriend? You have mentioned your girlfriend's name
like 100 times.
Bro, she said more than 500 million times. And I'm like,
that was your way of setting boundaries.
Exactly. So for me, at that point, I just knew that, like this conversation, as beautiful as it is, like young people, like in a beautiful city of the world, and it was clear. Like it has to be clear.
Everybody knew that Nifemi has girlfriend. He has somebody.
Do you understand? That for me, that's number one. Secondly, it is communication. Like if I meet a new person, I'm going to tell my partner, right? And
that will not really mean if you meet someone and you tell your partner, it doesn't mean that you cannot still catch feelings for the person.
Exactly.
When you catch feelings, you will not tell your partner about that person.
Exactly. But then for me, I feel like those are steps. Those are steps to take for those are part of setting boundaries. Like letting, one of the first, because at the end of the day, catching feelings is something. Following through on the feelings is another thing, right? So you have to try. One has to try as much as possible, because along our life's journey, we're going to meet attractive people.
Definitely.
We're going to meet good people.
Yeah.
We're going to meet people who would, help us. And, certain people will be so, we'll be so endeared to them in a way that it's actually serious.
Yeah.
Right? So, as a person, you can't just be forming James Bond. If you are forming James Bond, you go just put yourself in trouble, right? Making sure that certain things are in place to make sure that at least you cannot go on. You understand?
I agree with you, because, for example, as a married person, I have male friends, right? But boundaries.
Male friend, hey, she might have to get male friends.
I beg. Waiting. Now slave
she have
male friends. As I was saying before, I was interrupted. So I have male friends. Yeah, my husband doesn't have a problem with it because I have boundaries, right? So which is what we're discussing, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I can't have a male friend telling me, "Oh, let's have dinner date together, just one-on-one, both of us." Right. It's not possible. I'm going to show up with my husband. My husband is going to be the third wheel. He's going to. You will have that date with my husband too. Do you get?
Yeah.
So you need to be able to say nope. But if my male friend should say, "Oh, I have a get together," I know other people will be there. Yeah. I can definitely go. No big deal. Right. Or maybe he has a company event, and then there are many of his friends hanging out there or whatever, and he also includes me. Perfectly fine. Right. But you shouldn't be having, like, as a married person, you shouldn't be having like one-on-one dinner, intimate, romantic type of romantic gathering with the opposite sex. I feel
so begging the question, does that now mean that a married person can have a close friendship relationship with like an opposite sex?
I'm going to go there. That's a good question.
Please get there.
So I feel like closeness get level.
Yeah.
For example, I have close female friends that they can call me 12 o'clock, midnight, and start crying and start opening up. Yeah. I consider them as like part of my best friends.
Yeah.
Right? Those type of people, that kind of relationship, I don't feel, my opinion, no,
Right.
I don't feel a married woman, for example, should have that kind of relationship with another guy.
Right.
Do you get? If I'm feeling emotional and vulnerable to the extent that I'm crying, I should talk to my
Your
husband.
partner. Yeah.
It's not. It shouldn't be another guy that I'll be expressing that kind of feelings to.
Yeah.
So I don't feel a married person should have that level of closeness with another guy.
Another person.
But you can be close. I have male friends that I'm close to. I can just say, alpha guy, I beg, you feel show for something. Alpha guy, I beg, you feel borrow me this thing. Alpha guy, I need your opinion on something. Can you help me do this thing?
Right.
Do you get?
Right.
I can also say, you know what? Can we come to your maybe apartment to organize something? Like the person, you see the person like a brother, right? You are open to the person, you are this, but not that vulnerable to the extent that you can call the person in the middle of the night and say, this is what is happening to me. No,
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can be, to answer your question, you can have a close relationship as a married person with another guy, but not to that level of being that emotionally vulnerable and emotionally involved. So I feel like it's dangerous.
Yeah. So this thing you have just said now hinged on like, so at the end of the day, right? Everybody has a limit, really, right? So it's still based on how you are able, like knowing yourself and being able to know the limits with which you can go. So
sometimes you feel like you know the limits in which you can go.
But
so my mom used to say something then when I was still dating that she used to say it in Yoruba that whatever you know you are not going to eat, don't smell it. That's what it simply means.
Right.
So if you are saying I know myself, if you should call me for dinner date, I will go because I know myself.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't really know yourself. Things happen. And like I said, you don't plan to fall in love most times.
Right.
You don't plan for these emotions to go. It just goes. Sometimes it's just like, I don't even know why I love him. Yeah. You can't even explain it, right? Because it's not planned.
Right.
You are not being logical. Your brain is not working. It's your heart. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So you shouldn't even put yourself in that situation, right? Which is what is called boundaries. As a married person, don't overdo it. If you are single, who cares? If you like, if you should end up in a relationship, fine. Now you know what you go lose.
Exactly.
And talking about what you go lose, do you feel like single people have nothing to lose when they fall in love with their friends, like their platonic friends?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting question, right? So I also feel like it depends on like falling in love, then following through on it, right? So if eventually it depends on how they handle it, right? So I feel like I've been in a situation where, someone actually told me like upfront that they actually really do like you, right? But I'm like,
the girl yourself chop liver. I would rather choose and tell the guy that I like it. If I'm giving you green light, like, and you don't see the green, yellow, all the lights, then
so for me, I feel like
move on.
So for me, I also feel like, based on the kind of person I am, right? I always upfront. I always put my card on the table, right? I always set like if there is one thing, and one of my very close persons usually tell me that, Nifemi, how are you able to even know that this is not something you want to follow through with? And I'm always like, I just know, right?
You know what you want now.
Exactly. Lights on. Yeah, but people always think that it will change. Or if, they always feel like maybe there is something they're not doing, right? Which is also true. But if someone had mentioned it from the beginning, right, that, they're not in this headspace, right? And then you guys, so for me in this instant case, like we met like on a neutral work related setting.
Yeah.
Right. Conversation kept going. Was pretty like good conversation on the first day. And then, it was just very weird. We just got talking about a lot of things on that first day. And then somehow we just got talking and I'm like, yo, man, that's not one of the things I want to be doing right now, man. I just want to be working. I'm setting up a company. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Then me and this person kept in touch. We kept talking, and then we spoke pretty frequently, right? And this subject, pops up at here and there, and then this person eventually mentioned it that the way it is, kiniko.
Which kiniko? Tell me. You are confusing me.
I mentioned it
this
from the
person
beginning.
tells you that she likes
you know, she really liked me and stuff.
Why are you shy to
but
say
I told you now. I told you someone
Why
that told
you
me.
say it again?
I told you someone that told me
not
before.
kiniko. Continue.
But at the end of the day, I was like, no, I'm still like, no. The question is, would it affect? For me, this person was vulnerable. That I believe that is the height of vulnerability for a lady.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think,
it is.
Yeah. So it was in my place to like set it straight. And then for a while, right, she stopped talking to me.
Because she was probably embarrassed.
Well, maybe not embarrassed. I think I handled the situation well, in the best of my opinion. But if I didn't,
no matter how much you handle this, female,
and then eventually we started talking again. Like she reached out. Yeah, she reached out and we were cool. Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right. And I've even had people walk up to me in church. Right, I've had people walk up to me at least on
that one is different.
Two occasions
that one
where
is not your friend, proper friend that you people see like almost every day.
Yeah, but I'm saying that like the way I even handled it, eventually like very randomly, like and the person like I saw you and I'm like yeah, I have to collect your number, I have to shake it, and eventually the way I like handled the situation, eventually they became my friends and like even though we don't talk, we don't talk frequently, but sometimes you see your status and you say for a long time, good. So do you have anything to lose? Maybe you do, depending on what the friendship was.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it could be dangerous as well because I know that most people.
Some people just don't like rejection.
And
most people are able to handle rejection.
Most people tend to think this whole platonic and romantic friendship thing is affecting just like people in relationship or married people, but I actually feel like it affects two single friends as well,
right?
Because you can have a friend that you guys see like almost every day, even if you don't see, you talk like almost every day, right? This person means a lot to you. If any good thing happens to you, maybe you win the lottery or you get promoted, this is the first person that comes to your mind that you talk to. Yeah. So in a situation like that, and then maybe I have a friend called Femi, for example,
right?
And I tell Femi almost everything, and Femi also tells me almost everything, right? We're cool. We like each other as friends, but not knowing that Femi is already catching feelings.
Want to fail you.
You're so dry, God. What is that? So then Femi eventually says, "Oh, I like you. I do this." Like he tells me how he feels.
Yeah.
And then I don't feel the same way about Femi. I'm kind of disappointed that I used to see Femi as my brother. You know?
Yeah.
So I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel the same way, but I really like us to continue our friendship and all that. Things might get awkward between both of you. Right?
Initially.
Yeah, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people, it will never remain the same again.
Yeah.
But some people might just be initial awkwardness. Right? So it's part of the reasons why some people, even when a particular friend likes the other friend, like the opposite sex, Femi might not want to tell me because it feels like our friendship means a lot more than having a romantic relationship and spoiling
everything.
it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I feel like it affects single people too, and some of them they'll just keep quiet forever because they're like, you know what, I'm not going to mess with our friendship.
Right.
I'm just going to. It doesn't mean that they're not attracted to you, but they just want to keep it like that, just because they need you more in their life as a friend than relationship or whatever. And besides, apart from the fear of rejection, which almost every human being has, another reason why some people set that boundary as a single person is because if they now eventually go, let's say the girl doesn't even reject you.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't reject Femi, for example. I decide to go into a relationship with Femi.
Right.
What if we should now
break up?
We should now break up. After you've done things, and then the breakup was really bad. Maybe Femi cheated or maybe I cheated or you people can never go back to the way that friendship again. So at the end of the day, you're messing up with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful friendship that you guys had before.
Yeah.
So because of it, I feel like some single people also need to be careful, and they find it can be very, very
so that means
dicey for them as well.
Means sometimes
not
you
just
know yourself. Sometimes you now thinking about it like that. So I'm saying that like it is possible to be in like you can be friends with someone and then you don't know and there's nothing.
Yeah.
Now, all of the things you have said, it means that to you,
Mm-hmm.
it might be nothing. You were not catching feelings.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that
The other person.
the other person wasn't catching
Exactly.
feelings. And if there's anything, guess what I want to mention now?
What?
My partner.
God.
You know, she says something. She
Mhm.
says, just you know yourself. She will always say, you know yourself, and just make sure that the boundaries are as
Exactly.
clear
Don't
as
lie to
possible.
yourself.
Exactly.
Don't lie to yourself.
Just you know
even
yourself.
if you feel like you know your limits.
But
Like I
then-
said, sometimes you don't really know it that much.
Exactly.
Till now, you're still discovering yourself.
Yeah.
There are
yeah.
things that you yourself will do. You'll be like, did I
Shit,
just
I
do
mean,
that?
do this thing.
This YouTube content creating that I'm already
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
in just 2 years before now, I'll say never.
I'm sure even a year.
Even a year, even
Right.
few months, I'll be
If-
like, never.
Same year, I wouldn't have imagined sitting in front of a camera
Exactly.
talking about.
But it's a lie. You'll have imagined you that you're a student union. You'll have imagined you're used to talking to people.
No, I'll
Don't
talk
let me-
about I like talking about politics.
You like talking about politics,
But
but,
this is-
you've
this is-
spoken in front of large.
about politics.
So, anyways, so sometimes you feel like, oh, I can never do this.
Mm.
Sometimes you be like, oh, this is definitely me, but you're not definitely that person.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to my point that just set that boundary.
Boundary, very clear.
Just set it for if you're in a relationship, if you're married,
Married.
it is extremely important. You can have friends,
And even
you can
if-
have close friends,
Mm.
but with boundaries.
And even you that are single, if you know that even the boundary does not exclude you, right? If you know that you're not
you
going
really
to,
don't want to
you
spoil
really
your.
you don't want to spoil this,
Mhm.
or like you're not like just make it clear as early
Yeah.
as possible,
Yeah.
right? Which is it saves everybody the headache.
Yeah.
It saves everybody the assumption. And when you see that things are already changing, I can feel it.
That maybe this guy likes me.
Yeah, you can feel it. I'm even no. I'm speaking for the guy because
Okay, like if you feel like the girl likes you.
culturally, right? Somehow I feel like there's a lot of power with the guy. Because even if the girl likes you,
She won't want to talk.
culturally, she probably would not want to talk.
Mm.
Yeah, I know that we're all woke now.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everybody-
yeah.
But then the fact still remains, like I said, culturally.
But she go there give you sign.
Exactly.
And as a sharp guy, you go no.
As soon as that's seeing the signs, you can start. You don't necessarily have to say, "Oh, we're going to date."
Mm.
That like there are
Taking
ways.
steps.
You understand? There are ways to go about it, you know. But like I said, the standards have become so low that guys. Now I'm talking like an old person,
Mm.
right? But I see it every day.
You are old now. What do they do?
I'm just.
You are
a
still
very
feeling
young
young.
man. No, I'm very young. man.
Oga, please,
I'm very young
please,
man.
please.
You know, the
Continue.
standard. So in the end, like I also noticed that guys don't even want to chase anymore. Guys don't want to chase. Like,
Everybody feels like I'm the prize.
but see,
Mhm.
as a guy, I think it's even a very faulty mentality. If you are as a guy, you think you're the prize. It's nasty, right? As soon as that feeling like you're the prize, but that's not even the talk.
That's not.
Don't
Let's
let us
not
go there.
Let's not go there.
So what I'm saying is that as soon as you start feeling like the reason why these relationships get messed up, especially from the guy's point of view,
Mm.
is that you as a guy, when you see that you're starting to like someone,
Yeah.
the next thing is not to go and say you're going to be my girlfriend. No,
So what's the next thing?
basic things. Go and
Like
do paint and sip.
you say paint and sip.
She's your friend. Go and do paint and sip. Go and
What if you guys have been doing that before? I mean, I have friends that can do that with.
you can't do that with you have friends that you can do that with.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, have you been doing that? So now that's the question. I'm saying that depending on where your friendship is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, on a normal day, you guys hang out and all the likes,
Mhm.
right? But as soon as, like I said, as soon as you feel that
There's
okay,
more
this
connection.
is
Like
this is going,
mm,
certain questions, certain experiences, right? Alpha, what are you? Let's go out this Sunday, right? Like you're going to be, you would feel like you feel the temperature, you feel the pulse.
I get what you're trying to
Right,
say. It's
but-
like it's almost like when you're in a relationship and
Yeah.
then I have a brother that said this thing before, that if a guy should ever propose to a girl
Mm.
and the girl says no, that the guy is an idiot.
He's a fool.
Why? Because before you get to that level
Yeah,
of proposing to a girl,
yeah.
you must be 99.9% sure
Most of the time,
that she's going to say yes.
you know she's going to
If
say
you
yes.
propose and she says no, then there's something wrong with you. That means
Exactly.
you didn't do your feasibility
So
study.
the question is, what were you guys talking about?
Exactly. So back to your point that before a guy now lets you know his feelings, if he likes you, he should have been studying the
Exactly.
whole dynamics between both of them,
Yeah.
going out,
You go, they set the stage. You
discussing.
be setting
You
the
go know
stage.
whether the girl self they feel am. So when you've
You be,
seen that,
you be
be like
setting
this
the
girl
stage.
self, this is
You
a
get.
that's when you now move.
And even before you
Mm.
you would have already, there are certain ah
Don't be oh yeah,
body
wait.
eating.
If they should see him now, they'll think he has had like 20 girlfriends.
Like you. So at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
well, some guys are just momo actually, but then at the end of the day, you would have set the stage that at some point you like, abort mission, abort mission, abort mission. But there are sometimes you know that okay, yeah,
Yeah.
this is that, and you just be like, why have I been dulling all this while?
All this
It's better
while.
to be there. It's better to be at the point where you be like,
I should have.
I've been dulling myself.
Now
Like,
for you to now.
when you ask your friend out and like you are just you're a mumu guy since all these days, you're a very stupid boy.
Why don't they give you?
You're just
green light?
you're just acting out now. But it's now talking about what to like. Going back to the question, do you get to lose something? Right? You don't have to really lose anything, right?
It depends on their maturity too.
Like I said, it's now I'm saying that you don't necessarily have to lose something. Like you would, it's in stages, right? You move it in bits and pieces, right? If you guys have been hanging out, like just having food before, right? Go and do activities, right? Like meet friends, let's discuss. You understand? Hang out with friends, right? Let everybody be expressive.
Yeah,
right?
that one no go do anything now.
See, you're making it, and that's the problem. The problem is we want to do anything. If you don't want to lose your friendship, so you don't want to lose. You
don't get what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I thought you were saying that you should like start taking the girl to a more how will I put it? Like a more private setting.
No, I'm saying that if you guys have,
they've been doing that before now.
No, I'm saying that if you guys, it depends on what you guys have been doing before. I said if you guys have been like on a restaurant P before.
I want to believe that as a friend, you
up.
people have been meeting other friends and been discussing, like you've been engaged in all those type of.
Well, maybe
do
not.
You get?
Maybe not. So that's what I'm saying. Switch it up. If you guys have been doing that, probably want to bring it a bit, like bring it a bit more private.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you see the way it is going, the conversation that is happening, right?
Yeah.
And then you can't expect that. Like I said, the friendship is for you to lose.
Yeah.
Right. You as a guy, you should know when to abort mission.
Yeah.
As a girl, you should know the energy that you would be protruding, and then that is what would be that's what would guide the next steps.
Yeah.
If someone is catching feelings, so you won't lose the friendship altogether.
Okay.
And
this has been fun. So I think I'm going to conclude by saying that for me, I feel like it's possible for men and women to just be platonic friends without being romantically
involved. By the way,
involved.
I enjoyed this tea.
You're welcome. Without being romantically involved, but they need to set boundaries a lot. Whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, boundaries are very important. Key. I also feel like your age is important. Like when you're still young, you have hormones everywhere, and you might not be able to control your emotions and everything, right? But as you're aging, you tend to see that there are more important things, and then you see that you can actually make your friends, your village, your community. You don't have to be necessarily romantically involved with them, and you guys can be useful to each other, right? And my other factor is I feel like your personality also matters, or maybe the environment you grew up in. Because some people, I grew up with guys, right?
I grew up with girls.
You see?
100%.
I grew up with 3 guys. And I'm so used to talking to guys. Like if I see a guy, I can be like, hey, OG, you know? But some girls can't do that. So for me, it comes naturally. And I don't necessarily feel like because I'm having a smooth conversation with a guy, that the guy is already feeling me.
Remember something?
And him too is comfortable talking to girls.
That when we say, you met a new friend, Abi. He's a girl. I know he's a girl.
So he's also used talking to girls that it doesn't necessarily like, he doesn't feel like if a girl is smiling at him or anything that the girl likes him, right? So I feel like maybe the environment you grew up
Yeah.
can shape on your mentality
Yeah.
towards that type of you
Yeah.
know, scenario or whatever.
And my personal favorite is, I can't remember if you mentioned it, is communication.
Then you said communication. It
Clear
feels like
communication.
if you are in a relationship, for example,
Clear
you can.
communication.
It's fine to have opposite friendship, like friend. It's fine to have friends with opposite sex as long as you communicate with your partner. Like, oh,
Communication.
babe,
Clear
I
cut.
just met this girl. Her
Clear cut
name is
communication.
Kemi.
Clear
Blah
cut.
blah 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 blah. She's
Right.
the executive director of blah 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 in my company.
Clear cut.
You know, with that, it's kind of accounting
Yeah.
for the friends in his life,
Right.
and it feels like it's kind of controlling him as well. Like it's
Mention
a
your partner
check,
too. Mention your partner.
check and controls.
Yeah.
Do you get? And then mentioning your partner sometimes when you're
Favorite.
having discussion with the opposite sex,
Right.
it's kind of, it's still going back to the setting boundaries. Kind of, you're making them know that
My day.
you're my friend, though, but Madam Day House.
Yeah, right.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this gist with Abby and
Right.
Nifemi. And please let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if
Are you going to invite me again? Let me
I'll
book
think
another
about
spot. Let
it.
me book a spot.
Or maybe I'll start charging people.
It should be vice versa, though. It should
I'll
be vice
think
versa.
about it.
I should be the one getting the pay.
So let me know if you have any topic that you'd like me to discuss on my next episode with Gist with Abby, or if you have any experience that you would like to share with me as well, you can discuss it in the comment section, and then I'll reply you. It's going to be interactive, right? And please don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe and watch this. Thank you, and see you guys later on the next episode of Gist with Abby.